Hi everyone, welcome back to Fitness Friday by Rosewalk Luxury Hospital for Women, South Delhi. And we are back once again to help you understand the well being in pregnancy. And this time we present to you the nutrition well being in first trimester. I have with me a very special guest, special doctor, Dr. Shelly Singh, Senior Consultant Obstetric Gynecology by Rosewalk Luxury Hospital for Women. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Mahima.
Welcome to Fitness Friday.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
And we are super duper excited for our today's episode. So, ma'am, how was the experience of initiating the overall first trimester care with the last episode that you did?
It was fantastic, Mahima. It was actually like talking to one of my patients across the table. So I really enjoyed that session. And I really thought, that we should be doing something like this so that it is informative and a little educative so that, girls are not so scared reading everything on Google.
Super. And so, as continuation, today we will be discussing more in details about the well being in the first trimester and the nutritional aspect of it as well. So, ma'am, let's get started with the session. According to you, what do you think is the best way for a pregnant woman to take care of her overall well being in the first trimester?
So, I do feel that the most important thing is to regard pregnancy as a physiological process. It's not an illness, it's not a disease, and that's the reason why we must take it as that and enjoy it. Start it off with a very positive vibe and make sure that you have at least someone who can help you with the first 3 months of pregnancy, which sometimes can be a little critical because there are problems which can happen with regards to miscarriages, with regards to things like tubal pregnancies, and also this is the time when the baby's organs are forming or organogenesis is happening. So it's important that we know about those things. Well, if you know about more positively inclined to tackle with it as well. So take it as something which is, a time which is for enjoyment, a time when you will be pampered also. So we need to start off the journey of pregnancy with a very, very positive outlook.
Lovely. And if we talk about the nutritional aspect, so any extra care in terms of nutrition that a pregnant mom should follow during the first trimester specifically?
Yes. So as we had covered in the last episode also, the common problems which one encounters in the first trimester of pregnancy includes nausea and vomiting. This nausea and vomiting can be to particular food items. There can be a lot of food aversion as well. And sometimes, because of the nausea and vomiting, one may not feel like eating at all. So, there are some challenges which we face in the first trimester of pregnancy. And these challenges could be that, as it used to be said earlier, eat for two. That obviously is a myth. It cannot happen. In fact, one is able to eat for less than oneself only, as this is a time when there could be a lot of nausea and it's difficult to keep things down as well. So most of the times we do say that you must eat something which you feel like eating, and don't stress yourself over the nutrition part of it.
Right. So, ma'am, is it okay to eat outside food if a pregnant mom is getting those cravings of having like chaat or golgappas? So, is it okay for her to eat outside food in the first trimester?
See, we are not very fussy in the first trimester of pregnancy, provided the health and hygiene is taken care of. We don't want you to go to a roadside vendor and start having it at any joint anywhere. But yes, one of those places which have reasonably good hygiene, there is no problem with regards to that. And it's important to know that, we need to have small, frequent meals. Instead of the three regular meals, it's good to have small, frequent meals of whatever you feel like eating. So make sure that you're having enough of those green vegetables in your diet. Make sure that you're having enough of seasonal fruits. Make sure that you have protein in your diet. It's not necessary to have all the so-called good things because we don't want you to vomit out everything in case you're having an aversion to, for instance, like if you feel that there is an aversion to milk, I will not tell my patients to have milk because I don't want her to have that milk and then to vomit it all out. Instead, I would always say you can have a little yogurt, or you can have cheese, or you can even have other sources of protein and calcium. So, small frequent meals or whatever you feel like eating is definitely a good idea. And make sure that you also have some, dry fruits. Keep yourself hydrated, have enough water, have enough fluids. So, that is the key. That don't stress. Eat whatever you feel like eating, small, frequent meals. And like your baby is small, your nutritional requirements at this stage are also small.
So, since you mentioned intake of milk and the overall hydration levels, what are the best form of liquids that a mother can have during the first trimester? If we talk about, the best way to maintain the overall hydration.
So, I will not be able to give you a one fits everybody kind of a formula, because, something which would be well tolerated by some girls will not be tolerated at all by others. So, I would say that, have enough water. Make sure that there is enough nimbu pani in your diet. Make sure that you have nariyal pani, which is very good a source of electrolytes as well, salts also. In the winter season, you can have even green tea, you can have a little kava. Make sure that you also having clear soups, anything which is not really, very, very sort of heavy. So light food. And even in the winters, that's another thing that I would like to reiterate. Most of the times don't pay attention to hydration in winters, but it's important that you keep doing that even in the winter times. So make sure that you're doing all of that so that you don't remain dehydrated, because there can also be, the dehydration because of the vomiting that can come about.
And ma'am, is it okay to go for shakes in the first trimester if the mother, doesn't feel like eating too much and she wants to kind of maintain liquid intake and she's very happy to have fruit shakes during the day or ice cream shakes during the day? Is
That's
it okay for mothers to
absolutely
do that
fine.
also?
Like I told you, that we would not stress unless there is a medical condition which contraindicates, that. I would say definitely it's a good idea, because it's rich in energy, it's rich even in your milk products, it's rich in yogurt, it's rich in so many other things which are healthy. Fruit shakes, and then you can just add a little bit of chia seeds, ice cream. Yeah. Definitely.
Very nice. And apart from that, sometimes, in Indian families, there's a tendency that if there's a woman who's just been, tested positive for pregnancy, everyone will keep telling her, no, you have to eat for two, you have to eat extra, you cannot skip your meal, you have to eat this. So, any tips for the family specifically right now?
So, things have really changed from times that, the mothers in law were pregnant for most of the girls these days. So, it's important to realize that one cannot eat for two, because this is a time when you can barely put, you can put down things for yourself alone. In fact, some girls will even lose weight in the first trimester. There can be even up to 1 kg of weight loss, which can happen in the first trimester because of this nausea and vomiting. It's important to realize that you cannot eat for two. In fact, even throughout pregnancy, I say that this is a myth that you eat for two. Instead, eat healthy, eat nutritious, eat right.
Right. So, ma'am, if we talk about the weight in the first trimester, is it important for a pregnant mom to gain weight in the first trimester? Or, like you said, sometimes they can even lose weight. So, if that happens, they should not stress out or get worried about it. If you could tell us something more about the weight in the first trimester.
Yeah. So, weight normally in the first trimester, we expect a weight gain of around 1 kg. But even a weight loss of approximately 1 kg is fine. But only thing is that in case there is weight loss which is happening dramatically, that there is something called hyperemesis gravidarum, in which whatever you are eating is not being retained. There is dehydration, there is loss of electrolytes, and which can further cause problems. Then of course one does require to be a little alarmed. Otherwise, there is no problem with a little bit of weight loss as well in the first trimester.
Right. So you should just listen to what your doctor tells you, because that is the best way to not stress out. You would always know whether everything you're doing is going perfectly fine or not. And ma'am, overall, what are the best, quickest snacks that moms could probably enjoy having in the first trimester?
So that again is not a single formula which fits everybody. But then yes, things like sprouts, you can make yourself a chart, you can make yourself a fruit chart. Like you said, we can even have smoothies, we can have shakes. So these little things, you can have a dry cracker with a little bit of cheese or whatever you like on it. Uh, Crackers and even dried toast and all also does prevent the nausea which or the morning sickness which comes in the first trimester of pregnancy. So anything which really is nutritious, which is light and which is not very fried or spicy. But again, having said that, if you want to have those golgappas, that's also fine with that, as long as the hygiene is maintained.
Any specific food items that should be avoided, or any extra caution in terms of what not to be taken in the first trimester?
Yeah. So what I generally ask my girls to do is that you should not be having raw papaya. You should not be having pineapple. You should not be having Chinese food, which has Ajinomoto, monosodium glutamate.
Okay.
Too much of chai and coffee is to be avoided. In fact, green tea is a good idea, but too much of caffeine is not to be taken. I would say cold drinks, processed foods are definitely not to be taken. And also, I generally tell my girls not to have even things like sushi because it has raw fish.
Right.
So we're really not sure about some of these foods, and even poultry that you get, cold cuts, etc. Make sure that you get it from a place which is a well reputed, good hygienic place, and not just from anywhere.
Right. I think that is also a very important point for them
Yes.
to remember.
And absolutely no alcohol. It should not be accompanied by alcohol. There is nothing like too little alcohol.
Yeah, because sometimes some pregnant women feel that it's just the first trimester, so maybe I can have now, but then later on I'll stop.
Yeah, so they will always say, "Can I just have that one glass of
Yeah,
wine?"
one last
sometime?"
glass they want to have sometimes.
So once in a while, I would definitely say that medically and scientifically, it is important that you give it up completely. However, if the craving is too much, then occasionally a little bit, maybe just that one little bit, which can be taken. Otherwise, completely avoid alcohol and smoking. Of course, we do know is a definite no-no.
And ma'am, let's talk about hookah, because nowadays in a lot of circles, going out for shisha lounges or hookah lounges has also become very common. So if a pregnant woman is going to a place where somebody around her is smoking hookah, which is again another form of tobacco itself, you think that she should definitely avoid it. So if something you could specify on that also.
Absolutely. So in fact, passive smoking is something also which is a definite no-no. We have to absolutely say that is not to be done, because if you want a healthy baby, if you don't want miscarriages, you don't want a baby who's really small in weight, a preterm baby, or if you don't want complications, for instance, bleeding disorders in pregnancy like placenta previa, make sure that you completely give up that smoking, and even ask your partner or people around you in case they smoke to completely give it up or not smoke around you. Definitely.
So if you're going to a public place and you see somebody smoking, or you're going to a place where somebody's smoking hookah around you, please try to move away from that place so that you go to an area where there's no effect of passive smoke on you or the baby.
Yes.
And ma'am, apart from that, any extra care that the husbands can take to make the first trimester comfortable for the wife?
Yes, first of all, the husbands, it's a new phase for you, it's a new phase for your wife as well. So then just be a little more cooperative, be a little more empathetic. Sometimes, you suddenly find that your wife, who was so sweet tempered, has suddenly become this extremely shrewish girl who was crying at everything. So make sure that you are very, very sympathetic and empathetic towards her. Secondly, there would be again, like, going by just the nutrition, sometimes cravings would be there. Make sure that you are able to help with those cravings as well as much as you can. And the third thing is, of course, that make sure that you're there for all these little problems, like even vomiting in the first trimester, or even that nausea can be terrible at times. So make sure that you're always there And these are little problems, but sometimes they just can magnify to huge things. And the start of a pregnancy, if that goes well, then of course the 9 months will also go well.
Yes, so you can make sure that you try to make the journey as smooth as possible for your wife, and don't forget to accompany her for the scans or the gynae visit. I think that's also very important.
Very important. Very important. So today, because we are just talking on nutrition, I have tried to keep it only to that nutrition. But of course, empathetic, sympathetic husbands and partners are definitely very, very important. In fact, we are finding most people who are coming even to the labor rooms most of the time. They are accompanying their wives in the labor room. They're even getting their corona tests and other things done. And in fact, they are going to be the only attendants instead of the mothers or mothers-in-law. So there's a sea change that we are finding these days, which is definitely a very positive thing. They're coming for wellness classes. They're learning so many exercises, breathing exercises as a couple and as a partner. It's very important.
Yes. And ma'am, anything would you like to mention about when is the right time to start off with the iron calcium supplements in the first trimester?
So that is in the second trimester. Initially, in the first trimester, what I want you to take is only your folic acid. That is what is important. Folic acid is available in the form of a tablet. And apart from that, some food items also are rich in folic acid. So the green leafy vegetables, nuts, legumes, they are rich in folic acid. So folic acid should definitely be taken in the first trimester of pregnancy. And these days, of course, with even corona around the corner, vitamin D supplementation is important, and some form of zinc and vitamin C should also be taken just to up our immunity against so many viruses which are going around.
Right, and just to enhance the vitamin D levels, can she also take some sunlight exposure? Would that
help? Of course, that is always a great idea.
Is it safe in these times right now?
See, outside, if you're maintaining social distance, if you're just sitting in your balcony, or even if you're going out, you are masked up, you are maintaining that hygiene, there is absolutely no problem. In fact, the benefits far outweigh the risks. So exercise is extremely important, and the exposure to sunlight also is.
When is the most appropriate time to take exposure to sunlight?
So these days, since the AQI in Delhi, in a place like Delhi, is very bad, or if there is a problem there, make sure you go out at a time, or you're sitting out in the sun when it's not so bad, when the AQI levels are a bit better. So that would mean in the early noon, as well as up to 4 or 5 o'clock, till the time the sunlight goes away. Or even if you're going for a walk, I definitely say that the easiest thing to do with the first trimester is to go for a walk at least 5 to 6 times in a week, and brisk walking for at least half an hour to 45 minutes, unless your doctor has specified that you're not supposed to do that for medical or some other reasons.
Lovely. I think that was some great information that Dr. Shelly ma'am has shared with us, and now we'll be happy to take questions from the audience. So in case you have any questions for Dr. Shelly, please send us and we'll be very happy to answer them for you. We have the first question here. So I'll probably have to go closer to read it. So I'm just going to adjust this. Yeah. So the question says that, hi Dr. Shelly, please explain more about nausea during the second month and how can I tackle it?
Yeah. So nausea is something which is extremely common in the first trimester, and as you said, in the second month, it's extremely common. It may happen to particular food items that you liked and loved initially. Also, you would have an aversion to those. So it can just be nausea, or it can even be vomiting. And also that the term morning sickness is also a little overrated, because it can happen throughout the day. And sometimes most people will get relief from this nausea after the first trimester is over, but some girls even find it throughout pregnancy. So to tackle this, the easy things to do are that you completely avoid that food which is causing that problem. You avoid the smells which are causing this aversion. Apart from that, you make sure that or not eating very fried or spicy food. Light food will always help you. Small portions will always help you. Make sure that some ghrelu things like ginger. So if if you're just sipping on that ginger, or I mean if you're just sucking on that or chewing on that ginger, or even amla toffees, or even a dry cracker along with a dry biscuit, a dry piece of bread early in the morning. These are things which will help. Sometimes, instead of taking too many liquids, and some girls find that it's difficult to retain water, you can just take a little ice cube and you can just keep sucking that as well. And of course, there is medication which is available for all of this, and whenever required, don't hesitate going to your doctor and telling her, specifically discussing things with her, because there are options which are available. However, having said that, sometimes in spite of medication and all, it is difficult to take care of that nausea, but also remember that this is something which is short lived. It is going to go away after that first trimester is over. So don't stress.
Right. We have the next question here. I am suffering from severe constipation. Can you please suggest diet tips along with some medication in case needed?
Yes. So the first important thing is that if you keep yourself hydrated, if you drink enough water, that's an important thing. Make sure that you're even having other forms of liquids like I just said, you can have nimbu pani, you can have nariyal pani. Make sure that you're having enough of liquids in your diet. Make sure that you have a high fiber diet also. Lots of green vegetables will help. Some of the grains and seeds will help. Then it will also be helped if you take more of things like, there are so many green vegetables which are available now, or the saag which is available these days. And make sure that there are enough fruits in your diet. And if required, we do have so many solutions which are not even medicated, in the sense that you can have isabgol, which again is a plant compound. So you can have that isabgol at night, and there are other medicines also available to take care of the constipation. So well hydrated, enough fiber in your diet. Make sure that you're doing all of that. And if you're having more of meat and meaty stuff, make sure that you're countering it with lots of greens.
And plus, maybe a little bit of exercising can also
absolutely
help.
Exercise
Also.
Yes, there is absolutely no substitute for exercising. And make sure that you continue it through the pregnancy, unless of course it's contraindicated for some reason.
We have the next question. Hi ma'am, I feel a severe heartburn every time I eat. Is it okay if I take Digene?
Yes.
For this throughout
the trimester. Digene is not a problem. You can take Digene, and make sure that you're not having too much of fried and spicy food. And make sure that when you lie down also, there's a little pillow which is there, because there will be a lot of acid reflux. So these are little tips which just help you to counter that. And of course,
keeping the pillow helps under the neck.
And you can always take that Digene. There is no problem.
Next question. How many calories do I need in the first trimester?
Nothing more compared to the non-pregnant state. Around 2,000 calories is enough. Because your baby is small, and requirement of calories is also not huge.
So eating for 2 is just...
Yes.
And we have somebody sending hearts.
That's nice. Oh, I love that. As long as they're not big bats, I love it.
There are hearts. So 3 beautiful red hearts for you. So those were some wonderful questions from the audience, and I think we totally enjoyed answering them.
Yes. So it's always fun interacting at this level, and it's always good to break it up, into smaller pieces, like the first trimester, then someone else would be tackling the second and third trimester, because it specifically covers all the small nitty-gritties also.
So, on that note, we totally enjoyed interacting with you all on overall well being during the first trimester. And we will be coming back again with our part two of the first trimester. And you will be soon seeing Dr. Shelly ma'am again talking more about the first trimester and how you can take care of yourself and follow some important tips that can help you make your first trimester smooth and healthy. So thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing our time for today.
Thank you,
It's
Mahima.
total fun as usual.
It is always a pleasure talking to you.
Great. Ma'am, any takeaway message for the audience?
Stay positive, eat healthy, exercise healthy. I'm sure you'll have a great, great pregnancy.
Lovely. And in case you want, you can get in touch with us at Rose Walk Luxury Hospital for Women for our well-being program for pregnant moms by the name of Bump Prep. And we'll be happy to help you with our online Bump Prep classes to make your pregnancy journey more smooth and easy. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Have a great day. Thanks a lot for joining in.